There comes a moment in life when the body begins to whisper more than it shouts. For many people, that moment becomes noticeable after the age of 60, not because something suddenly breaks, but because the silent dialogue between movement and structure changes. Posture, something we rarely think about when we are younger, begins to reveal itself as a storyteller. It tells us about habits, about years of adaptation, about muscles that have forgotten their purpose and joints that have learned to compensate. And perhaps most importantly, it tells us how the nervous system has negotiated with gravity over decades. When we speak about posture correction for individuals over 60, we are not talking about forcing the body into an artificial alignment or chasing some rigid image of perfection. Instead, we are exploring how the body reorganizes itself in response to time, movement, and environment. Posture is not a static shape, it is a living process, a dynamic conversation between muscles, bones, sensory systems, and even emotions. Every posture is a momentary solution to the question, how can this body remain upright with the least effort? As we age, several biological changes influence this question. Muscle mass gradually declines, a phenomenon often described scientifically as sarcopenia. Connective tissues become less elastic. The discs between the vertebrae may lose hydration and height. Reaction times slow slightly, and the vestibular system, which helps us maintain balance and spatial awareness, becomes more sensitive to disruption. None of these changes are inherently pathological. They are expressions of biological adaptation. But when combined with decades of habitual movement patterns, they can produce a posture that feels heavy, collapsed, or unstable. One of the most common postural shifts observed in adults over 60 is the forward head position. The chin subtly moves ahead of the shoulders, the upper back rounds, and the chest narrows. This is often described as a kyphotic tendency, yet labeling it with a technical term can sometimes obscure its deeper meaning. The body is not simply deforming, it is adapting to how we live. Years spent sitting, reading, using screens, or performing tasks that require forward attention gradually teach the nervous system that forward is safe, forward is familiar. What is fascinating is that posture is less about muscle strength alone and more about neuromuscular coordination. Strength matters, certainly, but the brain must recognize how to use that strength efficiently. This means that posture correction exercises are not merely physical drills, they are educational experiences for the nervous system. They invite the brain to rediscover alternative patterns of movement that may have faded into the background. Consider the spine, often described as a column but better understood as a flexible chain of interconnected segments. Each vertebra contributes a small amount of movement, and together they allow fluid motion in multiple directions. With age, the spine may become more rigid, not solely because of structural changes but because of protective tension. When the body perceives instability or weakness, it often responds by stiffening. This stiffness can create the illusion of strength while actually reducing adaptability. Therefore, posture correction begins with awareness. Before exercises even begin, individuals benefit from learning to feel where their weight rests, how their feet meet the ground, and how the breath moves through the torso. Awareness is the foundation upon which all physical change rests. Without awareness, exercises become mechanical repetitions. With awareness, they become opportunities for transformation. Breathing itself is one of the most profound posture correction tools available. The diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle beneath the lungs, plays a critical role not only in respiration but in spinal stability. Over time, many people develop shallow breathing patterns, relying more on accessory muscles in the neck and shoulders rather than allowing the ribcage to expand fully. This pattern reinforces tension in the upper body and contributes to forward posture. When individuals learn to breathe deeply into the lower ribs, something remarkable occurs. The ribcage begins to move more freely, the spine subtly lengthens, and the nervous system shifts toward a calmer state. This is not mystical, it is physiological. Slow, controlled breathing stimulates the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system, reducing excessive muscle guarding and allowing more natural alignment to emerge. Another essential component involves strengthening the posterior chain, the muscles along the back of the body. These include the gluteal muscles, the hamstrings, the spinal extensors, and the muscles between the shoulder blades. In younger years, these muscles often activate automatically during movement, but with prolonged sitting and reduced activity, their engagement can diminish. The body then relies more heavily on the front of the body for support, pulling the shoulders forward and tilting the pelvis. Exercises that gently reawaken these muscles can be profoundly effective. Simple movements such as hip hinges, where the individual learns to fold at the hips while maintaining a long spine, teach the nervous system to distribute load more evenly. Wall-supported posture drills allow individuals to feel what upright alignment actually feels like without strain. Rows or pulling movements encourage the shoulder blades to glide back and down, countering the habitual rounding of the upper back. Yet it is important to remember that correction does not mean rigidity. An upright posture that is stiff or forced can create more problems than it solves. True postural health is characterized by adaptability, the ability to move effortlessly between positions. Imagine a tree that sways in the wind. Its strength comes not from resisting movement but from accommodating it. Similarly, a healthy posture is alive, responsive, and capable of subtle adjustments. Balance training becomes increasingly important after 60 because posture and balance are inseparable. The feet serve as the foundation for the entire body, and changes in sensory feedback from the soles of the feet can influence alignment higher up the chain. Simple exercises such as standing on one leg, shifting weight slowly from side to side, or walking with conscious attention to foot placement help retrain the proprioceptive system, enhancing both stability and confidence. There is also a psychological dimension to posture that is often overlooked. The way we carry ourselves reflects internal states as much as external forces. Emotional experiences, stress, and even personal identity shape posture. Over years, a person may unconsciously adopt a protective stance, rounding the shoulders or lowering the gaze. Posture correction exercises, when approached with kindness rather than judgment, can become a form of self-reconnection. Pain is another factor that complicates posture in older adults. When pain is present, the body naturally avoids certain movements, creating compensatory patterns. These patterns may temporarily reduce discomfort but can lead to further imbalance over time. Gentle, progressive exercises help the nervous system relearn that movement is safe, gradually reducing fear and restoring more balanced alignment. The concept of neuroplasticity offers hope in this process. Even in later decades of life, the brain retains the ability to adapt and learn. New neural pathways can form, and old patterns can be modified through consistent practice. This means that posture is never fixed, it remains changeable throughout life. Scientific research continues to demonstrate that strength training, mobility exercises, and mindful movement can significantly improve posture and functional capacity in older adults. One particularly effective approach involves integrating mobility and stability rather than treating them as separate goals. For example, thoracic spine mobility exercises encourage gentle rotation and extension of the upper back, counteracting stiffness that accumulates over time. Combined with strengthening exercises for the surrounding muscles, these movements help restore balance between flexibility and control. The role of the pelvis deserves special attention as well. The pelvis acts as a central hub connecting the upper and lower body. A forward-tilted or backward-tilted pelvis can influence spinal curvature and overall posture. Many individuals over 60 develop tight hip flexors from years of sitting, which pull the pelvis forward and increase strain on the lower back. Stretching the front of the hips while strengthening the glutes helps restore a more neutral pelvic position, reducing unnecessary tension. It is interesting to consider how posture influences not only musculoskeletal health but also internal organ function. When the chest collapses and the spine rounds excessively, the space available for the lungs decreases, potentially limiting breathing efficiency. Digestive organs may also experience subtle compression. While posture alone does not determine health outcomes, it contributes to the environment in which physiological processes occur. Social and environmental factors also shape posture. The height of chairs, the placement of screens, and the design of everyday tools all influence how the body organizes itself. Adjusting the environment to support healthier alignment can make posture correction more sustainable. For example, raising reading material to eye level reduces the tendency to bend forward, while supportive footwear can improve stability during walking. Movement variety becomes increasingly important with age. Repetitive patterns reinforce existing postural habits, whereas varied movement challenges the nervous system to adapt. Activities such as gentle yoga, tai chi, or controlled resistance training provide opportunities to explore different ranges of motion while maintaining safety. These practices also emphasize mindful awareness, bridging the gap between physical exercise and mental presence. One of the most encouraging aspects of posture correction is that small changes often produce significant effects. The body functions as an interconnected system. Altering one element can influence many others. Strengthening the hips may reduce strain on the lower back. Improving thoracic mobility may alleviate neck tension. Training balance may increase confidence, leading to more active lifestyles that further reinforce positive change. Consistency, rather than intensity, becomes the guiding principle. The aging body responds well to regular, moderate stimulation. Short daily practices can be more effective than occasional strenuous workouts. This reflects the biological reality that tissues adapt gradually, responding to repeated signals over time. Another fascinating area of research explores the role of fascia, the connective tissue network that surrounds muscles and organs. Fascia transmits force across the body and contributes to posture by maintaining tension relationships between different regions. Gentle stretching, slow movement, and hydration all influence facial health, allowing for more fluid movement and improved alignment. It is also worth reflecting on the cultural narratives surrounding aging. Many societies portray aging as a period of inevitable decline, yet scientific evidence reveals a more nuanced reality. While certain capacities change, the body retains remarkable potential for adaptation and resilience. Posture correction exercises serve not only to improve physical alignment but also to challenge limiting beliefs about what is possible after 60. The relationship between posture and walking is particularly significant. Walking is a fundamental human activity, and subtle changes in posture can alter gait mechanics. A forward-leaning posture may shorten stride length and reduce arm swing, leading to decreased efficiency. Exercises that encourage upright alignment and coordinated movement can enhance walking patterns, improving both mobility and confidence. Hydration and nutrition also play supporting roles. Muscles and connective tissues require adequate nutrients to repair and adapt. Protein intake supports muscle maintenance, while micronutrients contribute to bone health and energy metabolism. Although posture exercises focus on movement, they exist within a broader context of lifestyle choices. As individuals explore posture correction, patience becomes essential. The body has learned its current patterns over decades, and expecting rapid transformation can lead to frustration. Instead, progress often appears gradually, like a subtle unfolding. One day, standing feels slightly easier. Another day, breathing feels deeper. Over time, these small changes accumulate into meaningful improvement. There is something deeply human about the desire to stand tall. It reflects more than physical alignment. It symbolizes vitality, presence, and engagement with the world. Posture correction exercises invite individuals to reclaim a sense of agency over their bodies, reminding them that aging does not mean surrendering to gravity without resistance. At the same time, compassion must guide the process. Every body carries a unique history of experiences, injuries, and adaptations. Exercises should be modified to respect individual limitations, emphasizing comfort and safety. Pain should be approached as information rather than an enemy, guiding adjustments in movement rather than discouraging exploration altogether. The integration of visual and vestibular systems adds another layer of complexity. Eye movements and head position influence balance and orientation, meaning that posture exercises can include gaze stabilization or gentle head rotations to retrain coordination between sensory systems. This holistic approach reflects the interconnected nature of human physiology. Technology offers both challenges and opportunities. While excessive screen use contributes to forward posture, digital tools also provide access to educational resources and guided exercise programs. The key lies in conscious engagement rather than passive consumption. And in that quiet space between effort and ease, posture transforms from something to fix into something to understand, an evolving dialogue between biology, experience, and intention that continues to unfold with every step taken, every breath drawn, and every moment spent inhabiting the body with greater presence and respect.